David had gone through a lot. At the beginning, King Saul had welcomed David, but soon tried to kill him multiple times. He even tried to get his men and his own son Jonathan to kill David. David was then on the run from Saul for years with his men. Because of Saul hunting him, David was in anguish. He struggled. And now Saul, Jonathan, and his army were in battle. And in this battle, King Saul died, and Jonathan died. Later, a messenger came and told David that Saul and Jonathan had died. When David heard the news, him and his men tore their clothes. They wept and fasted for Saul and Jonathan. David even wrote and played a song in lament of Saul and Jonathan. After all the pain that David went through with Saul, there are multiple psalms of David pouring out his heart about how much struggle and anguish he was going through because of Saul. King Saul tried to kill David over and over and over again. And early on in David's life, David was anointed to be king. He knew he was supposed to be king. You would think that David would be overjoyed when his enemy finally died, that he was finally free of this suffering and could finally be who God had anointed him to be. But that was not how David reacted. He mourned. He cried. He wept. What? Even though Saul caused David so much pain and so much suffering, David still respected Saul and recognized that Saul was loved and anointed by God. David saw that who God anointed and loved, he would respect and love. And it also shows David's humility. He truly didn't care that he would get a better position. What he cared about is that God would be honored and glorified. And this story is such a beautiful representation of how we should love our enemies and pray for those who persecute us. Because while we may struggle from how people treat us, they are still loved and created by God. And God calls us to love, not to revenge, not to bitterness. My encouragement is to love everyone.